All right, we should be on.
Hey folks, can you let us know if this is actually an upright video or if it appears odd?
We're trying something different right now, so if there's anything weird about the way the video works, just let us know.
Let us know.
Where's everybody going, Kaden?
So we are starting a little late because we headed out to where the sheep were at in a far field, and they decided, as per normal, to move as soon as we got out there.
Oh, hang on. Apparently we are sideways.
Yeah,
Yep.
I feel like that was gonna happen.
How about now? We're gonna do it this way today. You know,
Alright.
sometimes, folks, sometimes you have weird technology things going on, and you just have to kind of deal with it.
Yes.
Today
I'm
we're
gonna
having
say
one of
this
those days.
This one might be on. This one.
Who are
might
you
be on
pointing
more.
at? No one's back there. There's no one there. Someone doesn't remember their Facebook password, though. And that person is both of us. Oh well.
So, we are actually going to say hi to Nina. Maybe Lauren will take off the stand so that we can handle the camera without scaring the sheep.
Yes, we should probably do that. All right, folks, we're going to have to go sideways for a moment. Just hang on. All right, there we go. Freestyle today. Let me just move this out of the way. Okay. All right, yes, if there's anything weird going on now, just let us know.
How's it going? So we are hanging out with the sheep this afternoon. Sorry for the slow start, everyone. Christopher, if you could just move your butt. Thank you, Stewie. Oh, Christopher. Oh, Christopher. And we are hanging out with the sheep because it is not only the season where they are looking close to their absolute cutest in our book, but also a season where a lot of sheep on farms are actually getting shorn this time of year. So, if you have any questions about our sheep's woolly coats, their hair, or their general winter attire, ask away in the comments, and we will answer. I think we should go and catch up with the whole crew, though.
Yeah, everyone else is over there.
Yes.
Hi, Nina. Hello. Come on, let's go find your friends. Come on, Stuart. Hey, Stuart. Hi. Let's go find your friends. Come on. Here we go.
Thanks for Atticus. Now, Atticus has been a little bit more shy lately than he was in his younger days.
Stuart.
So, yeah, Stewie's just coming in and stealing more of the attention. Watch out, bud. Let's keep going. Oh, Stewie.
Are we getting jealous, Stuart? Behave yourself.
So Stewie just gave Nina, I don't know if we caught it on camera.
We did not.
Stewie just gave Nina a little bit of a head bump there. And he mostly seems to have been wanting some human attention. So while we hang out with these guys, let's see if we can get a better view. Stewie is just like the little sheep tornado or torpedo just going through the whole herd right now. Come on, Talia. Will you finally make an appearance again? You've been shunning me slightly. Oh. I'm going to take it personally, Talia. I am going to take it personally that you ignored me. And here's Stewie again. So apparently this is going to be the Stewie show today. Do we have any questions before I kind of launch into what I was going to chat about today?
Yes, and I have a feeling this is something that you're going to chat about today.
All right.
Which is about what happens to the wool after shearing, since sanctuaries are places where the sheep are not viewed as commodities.
Yeah, so who's asking?
That would be Veronica.
So the sheep, after they are shorn, here at Sanctuary, we do not shear them until closer to around May is when we tend to do our first shearing. Hi, Stewie. So he is going to grow out his winter coat quite a bit more before he gets shorn. But once they do get shorn, hold on, Stewie, you got hay in my mouth. Hold on. Do you want to pan away to Talia? So I
Talia.
can spit the hay out of my
Yes. Talia is poking around at my pockets to be like, there's cookies here somewhere. I know there are.
We're better.
Oh, better. Yep. You get straw in your mouth, hay in your mouth. You get the mysterious hair. You don't know whose it is.
It was more than I cared to swallow, so here we are. But yes, we'll shear them, and we will actually just either toss their wool into the woods for wild animals to use, or we are also probably about to lose the sheep because somebody is shaking grain for the goats behind us. And
yeah, I'm going to stand up for a second. As we...
Oh, Lauren, you scared Talia. Right?
Oh, Talia, I'm sorry. We're also so that's Sam there in the human. And, Michael's going too. Go, Michael! So, what was just going on is that the goats were kind of wandering up the hill to where the gate for the sanctuary is. And there is a gate, but we want to just kind of make sure that they come back down and they don't go wandering away. So that's why Sam had that little container of food he was shaking.
We have a gate for all of our underfoot so that they don't wander outside of the sanctuary property. And hi, Liza.
Ooh, what was that, guys?
So that they don't go wandering off of our property, especially not into our neighbor's yard. We don't want them eating from his garden. We don't typically have a problem with the goats or the sheep leaving, because most of them cannot fit through the fence that we have up there. However, our baby goats are pretty decent at squeezing through the fence, and
they're very wiggly.
They're pretty good at squeezing through the fence still, and we used to keep them in a more closed up yard here on the sanctuary grounds, but we have since added them to the Underfoot family. Seneca, you are very much in the way. So we have since added them to the Underfoot family so that they can burn some energy, socialize with other goats who are older than them, and also so we can use their field for Callie the horse as she integrates and hangs out with her new mini equine friends. So yes, back to what we do with the wool. We'll also occasionally donate it to wildlife rehabbers who may use it for wildlife in their care for nesting as well. But we don't actually ever sell the wool. We don't ever turn it into clothing for humans or anything like that. Because there are all sorts of great fibers that we can use to keep ourselves warm that don't come from animals. And a lot of these guys would have been enduring some pretty awful situations on farms where they were being used for their wool. So, yes. Did we have any other questions?
Well, I think these will be things that you will address as well. So I think we have some folks who maybe got the lesson plan beforehand.
Is this all Veronica or
No,
no?
not all Veronica. Let me just scroll back because we got a lot of little hearts and things. So question: do sheep naturally make a lot of wool, or are they bred for that? And then about how the sheep are raised. Like, a lot of times they seem like they have a pretty good life roaming around out in the fields. But what might be going on with those sheep? And, when you see, like, Scotland and Ireland and kind of those picturesque areas.
Oh.
Who's crying? Yes, and we got a few other questions, but Kaden is only one person. So we'll get vegan Luz, we will get to your questions as well. So anyway,
So, to start with, do sheep naturally make a lot of wool? Well, if we take a look at... Hi, Nina, you're perfect. We take a look at the sheep who are hanging out right here in front of me, we actually have a good bit of variation between Lena. Can we see Susie?
this one's Susie with the horns.
And then, do you want to spin and show us Atticus?
And then this is Atticus right here.
So,
Very
all
handsome.
of these guys are wearing what is their natural for that particular individual's winter coat. So they are wearing what their body makes in the winter. Oh. Jester, are you going to come hang out with the sheepies?
Chester I'm going to pan over. Chester wanted to see what we were up to.
Chester has
Hey,
a
bud.
little bit of poo stuck to his tail. Just one color.
Oh, no.
And we, by the way, have a very cute Instagram reel of one of these is not the same, where Chester is once again hanging out in the sheep field with all of the sheep. Because he is the weirdo baby goat who just doesn't quite hang out with his fellow goats as often as the others. He's always a little bit confused about what he's doing at any given moment in time. Just an oddball out. Really lovable, really sweet, and kind of like the goat version of Ferguson, I gotta say. So Chester is all around, and if you want to see that video, you can go check out our Instagram reels. And I think it might also be on TikTok. We are on a couple of social medias, like, follow, and comment, and you can see more of us more often, including Chester and all of these guys. But where was I, Lauren?
You're sitting
They
in the
have a
sheep
lot of
field.
variation in their winter coats. Susie, you want to show us Susie again, is a sheep who looks a little bit more like what sheep should naturally look like. She's by no means a wild sheep. By no means at all. But she is fortunate enough to still have her horns because she was born here at Sanctuary. And she has a really short winter coat. It is straight hair, and she does not ever need to be shorn. Susie sheds all on her own. Her sister Liza does not shed entirely on her own. Her sister Liza...
Where is she hiding? Did she go in
Liza
the
is
house?
all the way around. We're not going to be able to see her.
Okay.
Her sister Liza looks like a combination of a hairy and a woolly sheep and needs a little bit of help getting shorn each year, and probably takes after Dad just slightly more than Susie did, because their mother Bertha does not need to be shorn either. So she
Bertha's also hiding, probably.
Actually, if you turn around, she's right there in the barn.
Oh, she's right there in the doorway. Let me just spin around real quick. Whoop. There she is. Hello, Bertha. Cozy in there. Okay.
It's a loud chewing in my ear. So naturally, sheep should be able to shed their own winter coat like any animal. So they've been very, very selectively bred to produce way more wool. And some sheep, when we think of sheep who are like merino sheep, they produce some of the most wool, and they have also been bred to have pretty loose, wrinkly skin, essentially so that they have more surface area to grow their hair on. And these woolly sheep, the ones who are bred for the wool industry rather than to be raised just for their flesh, and it is worth noting that even wool sheep are eventually killed to be eaten, almost all of the time. But they can't shed their own winter coats. Lena is a combination of a wool and a hair sheep. She sheds out naturally all on her own, doesn't really need to be shorn, but she has got this like curlier, fluffier wool looking stuff. And she leaves it all over the sanctuary in the spring once it gets a little bit warmer out. Now
So much hair.
Remind
So
me,
much hair everywhere.
The next question was about whether or not what their lives look like on farms.
Yes.
So it is actually a really good observation that we tend to see sheep outside on farms. They are a species who we raise as farmed animals, who have a greater likelihood of being sort of grass-fed or allowed to free range or live on much more open areas. They are animals who tend to be more likely on farms to have the chance to spend significant portions of their lives outdoors. Lauren is getting her
Yes, I just want to say if the camera is moving around a bit, I'm just going to move a little bit because Stuart decided it was time to aggressively rub his head on my arm. So we're going to pass Stuart off to Kaden right now.
Stewie's not interested in my attention all that much. Oh, are you now? Oh, is that better? That's better. Yes. So they are more likely to get to roam free outside. They will still spend portions of their lives, especially on larger farms. They're more likely to spend portions of their lives on their backs. They do have that space. And it is also worth noting that this can be actually like a pretty decent thing for their welfare. But ultimately, these guys are still not getting the same sort of care that we see at Sanctuary. So when we see our sheep roaming free at Sanctuary, getting into all sorts of shenanigans, and having their rich, like, family lives here, they're also getting things that we don't necessarily see with our naked eyes when we visit a sanctuary or when we visit a farm. When you just meet them sort of on a dated, like a quick day visit, you're not going to necessarily see all of the vet care and hands-on health care that goes on at a sanctuary that really distinguishes us from what a farm might look like. And that's actually one of the reasons that we have
Quick interruption. Goats are running again. Looks like they went back up the hill and then they decided, actually, let's go run back down the hill. Oh, slowpoke. Where's Tigger?
There's Tigger.
There's Tigger.
Beatrice and Jackie are going to make their way down way later.
Yeah, they're way
Or
up there.
not at all.
They're
Actually,
fine,
not at all.
though.
They look. Jackie is rubbing her head on a tree trunk, and Beatrice is eating dead leaves. So
Sounds like a party.
it's a true goat dream right there. But yeah, so that.
Stuart.
So their lives on farms are different than they are here at Sanctuary. And it's also worth noting that there tends to be a little bit less shelter for these guys on farms. Some of them will be shorn this time of year so that we can see on farms where it is winter this time of year and they're getting shorn, we will see them being kept in barns for the rest of the winter. So they're getting shorn so that they can be more tightly packed in together. They're getting shorn so that they don't overheat when they're being kept indoors for the rest of the winter. And they're getting shorn because it's easier to shear them before the pregnant ewes have their lambs. Oh, yes, Lena's getting a good head scratch here. So some of them will actually spend significant amounts of time just stuck indoors. But we're not as likely to see that when we're driving around in the middle of the winter because we don't think much of it when we don't see a lot of life outdoors in the middle of winter. Where am I going with this? I lost my train of thought.
Well, there is a related question that I think is at least near the tracks that you're talking about for the train of thought.
What is our
And yes, astute viewers did just notice, Kaden, I didn't want to say anything because you were in the middle of a thought. But one of the trucks just came out of the barn and Lonnie was in the back of it. And she was kind of like, this is not what's supposed to happen right now. Why am I moving? So it was very funny. So, yeah, folks, if you caught that, that was kind of silly. And if you didn't catch that, scroll back a little bit once the video's over and see Lonnie in the back of the truck.
Goats in the bed of trucks here is just normal course of the day business. But it is certainly a startling sight the first time that you see it.
I think Lonnie was not expecting it at all.
Lonnie is
there
not
are
usually
some
the one who rides around in the back.
Yeah, like Violet. Violet's like always in the back of trucks, so she's a pro at it. Like nothing throws her off balance. Lonnie was kind of like,
yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, Violet considers it to be her private eating time. She just samples everybody else's meals while they're on their way to be delivered, and then she doesn't have to be bothered by the other goats. What was the other question?
About how often they produce milk, because that kind of ties into them having babies and all that kind of stuff.
That's a very good question. So they will produce milk if they have a baby or if they've given birth. So we don't tend to see sheep being used exclusively for their milk in the same way that there are dairy farms for cows that are all about milking cows and not about other parts of their bodies. So not about also their wool, also their flesh. But yeah, if they have a baby, they will be producing milk, and it is not very likely that their babies will be taken away right away, the way that they are on dairy farms for cows. So the babies will nurse from their mothers, but some of that milk may also be used for humans. That tends to be a little bit more of the practice with sheep than it does with cows. But they are mammals, just like us, and they will only make milk if they actually have a baby to feed or had a baby that needed to be fed. And if they don't have their baby with them for some time, then their body will start to stop producing milk again. So it does have to be a cycle, and they will be made to be pregnant and made to have babies, once a year on farms for the most part.
So then it sounds like on sanctuaries we don't have to milk any of them, right?
Correct. So none of these guys make any milk whatsoever. We have a few who used to make some milk, because Lena here, for example, gave birth to her daughter Seneca, who is right behind us.
So this is Lena's daughter Seneca.
And so Lena made milk when she was feeding Seneca, and Seneca drank all of that milk. And then slowly Lena was like, all right, Seneca, I love you dearly, but it's time for you to start eating more hay. And so slowly Lena's body stopped making any milk, and Seneca started to eat grown-up food for sheep, which is just a lot of grass and, some ginger snap cookies here and there.
And Seneca's going to be 4 soon, so, she's not
she's an adult.
having any milk or anything now.
Exactly.
I think the most annoying, though, was our boy Davy, and his mom is just over
He
here.
nursed for well over a year.
Laverne. Poor Laverne.
Laverne spoiled him, I have to say. I think she did. Davy
Mama's
was just
boy.
like bigger than Laverne and continuing to nurse. And to be fair, Davy was always a very big baby. He came out, twice as big as your average lamb. He was a solo baby, so oftentimes we see sheep giving birth to between 1 and 3 babies, sometimes 4, but that's just wild. Hi, Nina.
Nina's here.
And Davy was a solo guy, so he was big. Yeah. I don't know if you had any twins, Nina. We do not know. Do we have any other questions that we're planning to ask?
Let's see. I think you have, either directly answered or indirectly answered all the questions that I have seen. Folks, if you have a question, feel free to pop them in the chat. And my apologies if I missed your question. We have had a lot of chatter going on in the chat, which is mostly just people, adoring the sheep. Because,
look at that face. Look at that face. So also to answer a little bit, or to expand a bit on the question about how sheep live on farms, it is not uncommon for sheep to give birth in the winter, especially, or it is also not uncommon for them to give birth in sort of late January, early February. no matter where they're located, so that they have lambs available to be killed for around Easter time, because they are more commonly eaten in Easter. So like in late January, early February in Australia, there will be some lambs. Hi Bob. But it's obviously not winter there. But here it is winter, and it is really, really tough on these babies to be born this time of year. They are more vulnerable to the cold, and on bigger farms they might not be getting as much individual care. We have a question, Lauren?
Yes, what do they weigh?
Ooh, we get a big variation. Very big. I have no idea what the smallest one weighs. My guess would be like Seneca is over 100 pounds. Does that feels accurate to you, right?
I feel like yes.
Like just over 100 pounds, and then you've got some who can push 300 pounds.
Like our buddy
say,
Atticus.
Atticus.
He's a big boy. Hey, Atticus. You're a big boy.
But I actually don't know what the lower end of that scale is. On average, though, if somebody asked me, like, what if I had to just, like, place a guess at what a sheep weighed without looking at the sheep, I'd say about 200 pounds.
And some of that will depend, too, on different breeds.
Yeah, there are a lot of different breeds out there, and just like with dogs or anyone, really, that really affects their size. Yes.
Yes, and this was a question that I missed. My bad. Here in Italy, they use Marima dogs. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, to take care of the sheep as they spend many months outside. Mm-hmm. Do we have a dog here to take care of the sheep, or do they just use that in farming?
So that's a good point. So what they'll tend to do, the dogs who are sort of like sheep herding dogs, will be used to, bring them to different locations, because even if they are spending many, many months outside, usually they'll be on rotating sort of plots of land. We do not have a dog here. We have really no need, because we are not dealing with massive numbers of sheep. We know each and every one of these sheep, and if we need to herd them somewhere, we will just wave our arms and sort of circle around them and get them to go in the direction that we want them to go. But they go to bed in their barn every single night, so they're not spending time sort of like exposed to the elements outdoors if they don't want to be. What is Lauren pointing at?
It's Christopher.
Lauren's just pointing at her favorite sheep.
Hi, bud. And sometimes when we want the sheep to move, we also bribe them with cookies.
Yeah, so I mean, we have, is it 20 sheep here? I would have to sit down and name everyone, but we have around 20 sheep here, and they are, they're easy enough for us to keep track of. We don't need a dog, and we don't allow dogs on the property actually, because they can be a bit of a threat to our birds who we rescue. But yeah, so sheepdogs more for when you have hundreds or thousands of sheep who are in your care.
Yes, so we also don't rescue dogs here at Catskill Animal Sanctuary.
We do not. If you have a dog who is in need of rescue in the Hudson Valley, we recommend that you contact an SPCA. We rescue exclusively farmed animals. Right, Nina? I don't know what these guys would do around a dog either. I don't have much chance to meet someone.
I think it depends on the dog.
Yeah. And are we running out of time, Lauren?
We are out of time, actually.
Well, we did start late.
We did start a little bit late, so that's okay. Yeah, folks. Sorry about the little bit of a late start.
The sheep had other plans.
Yeah, the sheep were like way out at one end of the sanctuary, so we went out there, and like as we were starting up the video, they were like, actually, let's go walk back to our house. Yeah. So we had to follow them.
I think we've learned our lesson, and next time we actually will herd them to the main part of the sanctuary before we do a sheep-focused episode. Before we wrap up today, we have next week, we'll leave a link for it in the comments, we have a virtual cooking class being offered by Chef Linda. If you'd like to get tickets for that, it is Fireside,
like comfort food.
Yeah. Just basically winter comfort vegan food. You can cook along, or you can just watch and join in and ask questions while Linda cooks. And you will get recipes and all of that good stuff. so that you can make our delicious recipes from our Compassionate Cuisine Kitchen at home. Always at a good spot, Nina.
Oh my gosh,
Good
she is
spot.
loving it. Oh, she's got the lips going.
And if you miss one of our virtual cooking classes that you wanted to perhaps get tickets to, you can also buy recorded versions of what was the live class on our website and download those so that you can follow along on your own time. We are also offering for all of our virtual sanctuary viewers a 25% discount to the bookings page. Book before like mid-March, and you can book.
Oh, we're back. Sorry, folks.
Okay, well, we will. To
So, yeah.
summarize what I don't know what we missed, we are going to leave a link for a 25% discount to our CAS Live private virtual visits of the sanctuary in the comments and in the description below, so that you can book a private virtual visit with us anytime that you like, as long as you book it before mid-March. So check out that link if you are interested in seeing more of these guys. Otherwise, we'll be back here on Tuesday next week with Lauren. Actually, it'll just be Lauren next week because I have a bunny at home who is getting his teeth filed down. So
Exciting day.
yeah, gotta take care of the animals at home and at sanctuary.
All right, folks. Well, then I will see you next Tuesday, same time, same place. And maybe I'll see you sooner if you sign up for a CAS Live program.
Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. And we can't wait to see you back next week.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.